Have Batman and MJ just been drafted into the most shameful cinematic universe in Hollywood? Are they about to share space with Obi-Wan Kenobi, James Bond, Clarice Starling, Hans Landa, Reith Rothschild and Laszlo Toth? Because the actors behind those legendary roles, Ewan McGregor, Pierce Brosnan, Jodie Foster, Christoph Waltz, John C. Reilly and Adrian Brody all share one incredibly dark connecting thread. They all made the conscious, calculated decision to look past the horrific documented crimes of Roman Polanski for the sake of working with the auteur. They knew exactly who they were getting into bed with. The question right now, do Robert Pattinson and Zendaya belong on that same list?
Getting old sucks.
So this week we're looking at the drama, and let's just pause to appreciate the sheer, unadulterated irony of that title. The film is literally about a couple dealing with the fallout of confessing a deep dark secret, and meanwhile in the real world, the film's Norwegian director Kristoffer Borgli is dealing with the fallout of his own confession. An essay from 2012 where a 27-year-old Borgli admits to dating a 16-year-old high schooler, which is legal in Norway, but it's still an essay where he literally details sneaking out of her bedroom window to avoid her parents, an essay where he admits his own friends told him this was a terrible idea but he did it anyway, dressing the whole creepy affair up in pretentious Woody Allen Manhattan references. Let's just point out this isn't tortured genius, it's pathetic creep. But before we grab the pitchforks for the cast, we need to draw a hard line in the sand. Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, the cinematographer, the editor, the entire crew, they didn't know about this digital time bomb when they signed on. They were making a movie, not endorsing a decade-old diary entry, so we have to separate the collaborative art from the director's baggage and judge this movie on its own merits. But make no mistake, the grace period ends here, because anyone who signs on to Borgli's next movie knows exactly who is behind the camera. And that is when we can talk about joining the cinematic universe of Polanski. Anyway, real world baggage checked at the door. I took my seat, unfortunately not in Seat F18, it wasn't in the biggest screen, I was in G3, the lights went down and I gave the film a fair shake, and I'll be honest with you, off the bat, I had a really good time with this one. Look, if we're separating the art from the artist, the art here undeniably works. Zendaya and Pattinson are both absolutely on top form in this one. They carry the weight of this narrative effortlessly, proving exactly why they're sitting at the top of the A-list right now. But outside of our two leads, we got to take a second to give Mamoudou Athie his flowers. He's the undisputed MVP of the supporting cast. He steals every scene he's in, and not in a showy way, just he's got an authority to him. Tonally, the drama wears its A24 jacket perfectly. It's got a very quirky, distinctly European sensibility injected right into the heart of an American story. And yeah, there's an absolute ton of awkward, cringe-inducing discomfort. But unlike the director's essay, the cringe here is good. It's totally character-based, completely earned, and it kept me hooked from the opening frame to the end credits. Without spoiling the twist that's kind of hinted at in the trailer, because you want to experience this as cleanly as you can, the film does eventually pivot into a profoundly dark, cynical look at a very sinister part of American culture.
This is America.
Much like last month's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, it takes a look at the underbelly of gun violence. But it's not like gun violence is a shocking anomaly, it paints it as an inescapable part of the cultural fabric. It's just the environment, it's the grim, unavoidable reality that America is gonna America. On a technical level, I've got to shout us out as well, this bizarre, disjointed craftsmanship on display here. As you're watching this film, you're going to notice some distinctly odd, jagged edits, abrupt sounds punctuating the scenes going off on one tangent and immediately cutting back and going on a different tangent. But it's not sloppy filmmaking. It feels like a deliberate, highly effective nod to the kind of frantic, neurotic behaviour of the characters themselves. It puts you right inside their deeply uncomfortable headspace, whether you actually want to be there or not. Look, final verdict, the drama is absolutely worth your time and the price of admission, if you're perfectly happy to squirm for a couple of hours. You've got to be completely on board with watching Batman and MJ trade massive CGI spectacles for a stripped down, awkward, raw showcase of human neurosis. It is dark, it's cringe-inducing in all the right ways, but it's a brilliant piece of collaborative art anchored by two very strong performances. The cast, the crew, they deliver on their end of the bargain. And as for Borgli, the director, let's see who is going to be still willing to answer his calls for the next one. Until then, support the art and hold the artist to a higher standard.
Would you like to know more?
Movies, popcorn.